Good afternoon, Austin, Texas real estate investors. We are approaching the end of 2023 and moving on to 2024. So, a few highlights we could talk about that happened over the last year would be what happened in the market, the real estate market, of course. Let's talk about some days on market, leasing rental rates, all of that good stuff, and of course, the sales. The real estate market in Austin was crazy the last few years, as I'm sure you've noticed. Prices went way up. Then taxes went way up. Then everything stopped because interest rates went way up. So about June, July, things started to kind of go off a cliff when it comes to quantity of volume. We first noticed it in the sales sector, and then it trickled into the management sector. We only had 1 month of really off numbers for 1836, and then it kind of plateaued or got back to a little bit more like normal. Sales has still not gotten back to normal, and we're not expecting that to happen until maybe March or April of 2024. We believe that either interest rates have to come down, prices have to come down, or people have to have pent-up demand to move to buy to whatever that is. So demand is increasing in the back end because people are putting their lives on hold, going, I'm not going to move, I'm not going to do this. Interest rates are moving slightly downward, and the other is prices. Prices are coming down, which is actually a really good sign because just like Miami before, or California before, or Las Vegas, when prices go up too fast, it's not healthy for anybody. And that was what was going on in Austin, Texas. So we're happy to get back to what looks like a little bit more of a normal in 2024, although it may be mid to the second half of the year before we see that. Buying and selling investments in Austin, how competitive is it compared to previous years? Well, the interesting thing is that when investors should be buying, like today when prices are declining and you've got some power, they typically sit on the sidelines. When everybody's rushing in, they all want to home it. And that's kind of counter to what you would want to do, but that's what we see people do. So just being honest about it, not right or wrong, but that's the patterns we see. So I would actually say if you're an investor, now is the time, especially while everything is silent, to take advantage of a lack of other demand for those properties. Ask for things like concessions to buy down your rate. You're not marrying the rate. You're just going to date it for a few years. So buy the rate down, tolerate it for a few years, and then refi as needed. I'm not so sure about the ARM versus the long-term hold fixed rate mortgages. I personally prefer the fixed rate, but I'll leave that up to you as a consumer. What I would not say to do is wait until everyone comes back to Austin, and then you're competing where you were a couple of years ago and paying too much for those prices, for those homes and investments. The market next year, from what I'm hearing, we're expecting interest rates to slightly move downward consistently through the second half of next year. We're expecting, as traditional demand does, to pick up in March, April and flow through the summer, although we're not expecting it to be as high as the last few years because that's just the cyclical nature of how we were kind of out of balance the last few years. When it comes to investors' focus for 2024, or any year for that matter, keep an eye on the return on equity. What are you making from your investment? Now, that takes into account paying down the mortgage, building equity, tax deductions, appreciation, and all the other benefits from real estate. But real estate is one of the few investments where there's actually something tangible in the real world that has an insurance policy on it. Just like your 401k, you can't give the Edward Jones guy $10,000 and say, great, I've paid you and I'll see you in 60 years at retirement. That's not how it works. Real estate investing does require some additional investments if things break, if you go through vacancies, but I can promise you I've been doing this myself about 15 years. As far as the investing side, I've been doing it about 17 from the management side. It works. It works. I can only think of one home that I sold that I was glad I sold of all the properties in a couple states that I own homes. And I wish I had probably never sold any except for that one. The reason I didn't like it is because it was too big. It didn't fit enough families in that sweet spot, which is a 3-2 cookie cutter, cul-de-sac lot, new neighborhood, one story. Guys, you can't go wrong with that. So I know that sounds too simple to be true, but that's the way it is. So as we go into 2024, we always ask you guys, reach out to us, reach out to your real estate agent if you have questions, but real estate investing works. If you are putting your money in other places, I just can't imagine why you wouldn't have real estate investments as well. 83% of real estate investors in the United States are mom and pops, 1 to 3 homes. So don't get scared off by these institutional investors or big articles or what you hear on the news. Someone with 1, 2, or 3 homes is the vast majority of the market, and that's who we cater to. So we'll be here if you need us. Give us a ring, 512-994-4323, or see us online at 1836propertymanagement.com. Thanks and have a great day.